Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Miguel back again with a very interesting one today, because what I have today is a very exclusive phone, and this may be the only one in this part of the world. I think it's the only one in the Middle East, and the phone that I have today is the Infinix GT 10 Pro. These are just a handful of devices, and we had to go through a lot to actually get this phone. So I would really appreciate if you guys would subscribe. Just before I start the video, I do want to mention that 90% of my viewers are not subscribed, so subscribing really means a lot, and we go through a lot to give you guys videos, and we really have to do a lot of effort behind every video, so really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. Now, I should mention that Infinix is known for a lot of things when it comes to their smartphones, but they're not known really for gaming smartphones. And it looks like this is the starting point for Infinix and the beginning where they are entering into the smartphone line. But I should mention that the GT10 Pro, although it looks like a gaming phone, is not really a full spec gaming phone. A lot of gaming phones nowadays, for example, the Red Magic phone, which is known to be one of the best, most powerful gaming phones in the world, is a very over-the-top flashy phone, which just by looking at it, you can tell that it's a very aggressive, very hardcore type of phone. Now, Infinix is trying to do that, but this is kind of like a very different category. This is sort of like a budget gaming line, which is a completely different line, a very specific line, where you are staying within a budget and you're still kind of sort of getting a gaming phone, at least aesthetically you are. Now, looking at the box, this is a very flashy box, just like you would expect from a gaming phone. Black and orange is the theme of the complete box here. We have the full specs of the phone, and it mentions the MediaTeks Dymensity 8050 chip, which is a brand new chip. It is based on a 6nm platform. We also get 16 gigs of RAM. It's actually not 16, it's 8 gigs of RAM, but it is expandable up to 16 gigs of RAM if it needs it. So by default, it's gonna stay at 8, but if it ever needs it, then it can go up to 16 gigs of RAM and use that. We also have 120 Hertz display, which is an AMOLED display, so that's good to see. And we also have what Infinix calls the Cyber Mecha design with a mini LED indicator, and I'll show you guys what that is once the phone is fully unboxed. And again, I should mention that the unboxing experience is very different, it's very unique for this one. And in a world where nowadays unboxings are pretty much boring and very minimal, this is very nice to see, because it contains a few things that I really liked. And you can also see down here, let me take out the phone. You can see that down here we have sort of like a speaker grill, sort of like a speaker mesh, and you can also see on this side that it says Insert GT Pro here. So I'll show you guys what that is exactly. So unboxing the phone, we have the booklet here, and the booklet contains quite a few things. So let's go through them. First of all, we have the silicone case, and I should mention that unlike a lot of other gaming phones that usually have openings on the phone, this one really doesn't, because this doesn't have any shoulder triggers. We also have, very interestingly, something that I've seen for the first time, a glass protector that comes with the phone. And then we also have the stickers which are used to clean the phone and install it. So this is an installation guide that comes with the phone. We also have the paperwork, the warranty information, and finally we also have some very, very thick stickers. We also have the phone down here, which obviously I'm going to put to the side, and then we're going to look at the rest of the box. So we have a 45-watt fast charger here that comes in the box, and we also have this color matching orange cable. But I should mention that the cable is not just any cable. It actually is a USB-C, kind of like a slanted, I don't know what you want to call this. It's not really a straight cable like we see on other phones, and the reason for this is that you can actually use the phone in this position, and you can also charge it at the same time, so it's not really obstructing your hand. And we also finally have the SIM pin over here. Now, I did mention that this box was a little bit unique, and I did mention it because if you see on the back side of the booklet, we have an installation guide as to how we can use this box, and this box doubles down as a speaker. So these are actually kind of speaker grills, and what you can do is you can put the phone upside down like this, and and then insert the phone over here, which then creates this kind of like a speaker. So what it does is it basically just creates like a chamber which echoes the sound and makes it more prominent. And the speaker obviously being down here, once you insert the phone over here, then you can, use this as a speaker, which I think is a very unique thing to do. You really don't see this with gaming phones or any phone for that matter, but very nice to see that Infinix is actually doing this. All right, let's go ahead and take out this phone, and this comes in the Cyber Black color, which is what Infinix advertises this phone as. And immediately on the back, you can tell that this phone is a unique phone, and that's what kind of stands out. That's one of the features of this phone is the back pattern, which again, as I mentioned earlier, Infinix refers this to as the Cyber Mecha design. And by looking at it, you would think that this has a lot of different LED lights and RGB features. It actually doesn't, which was something that I was kind of disappointed by. I thought these were LED lights, but they're actually not. It's just a design, nothing more than that. The only LED light that we have is on this side, which lights up in certain situations. So if you're charging the phone, if you get a notification, or if you're getting a phone call, and if you're in the gaming mode, then yes, this light will actually show up, which is just a white LED light which shows you different progressions of the light going up and down. Really nothing too unique, but I appreciate the effort that Infinix is putting into it. And aesthetically, you can see that this phone is very, very similar looking, because this uses the same chassis as the Note 30 VIP. So it's pretty much the exact same body. The camera module on the back is also pretty much the same. On the sides as well, you can see the phone is pretty similar. So we have the power button here. We also have the volume rockers here. We have a speaker on top, and we also have a speaker down here. These are stereo speakers. We also have the USB-C port, and we also have a 3.5mm audio jack, because this is a gaming phone, so you can use your headphones to game if you want to. And we also have a SIM tray here. Now this SIM tray not only supports dual SIM, but it also has a dedicated memory card slot. So it's very nice to see that Infinix is adding that. By default, this comes with 256 gigs of internal storage, but if you want to expand that, you do have the option to do it. Another feature of the Infinix GT 10 Pro is the display. So we do have 120 Hz display, which is a adaptive display, which means that this can go to 60, 90, and 120. And you also have the option of setting this at a specific frequency. So as you can see over here, you have the option to putting it at 90 and 60. And if you want to, you can put it to auto refresh rate, which is going to be an adaptive mode. And depending on how you're using the phone, this will change from 60 to 90 to 120 and then back to 60 as well if it needs to. Resolution wise, this is a 1080p full HD display, and this also has between 500 and 800 nits of brightness. Depending if you're outside on auto mode, it can go up to between 700 and 800. It is advertised as 900 nits, but we really didn't see that. The maximum that we saw was around 750, around 800 nits is what we actually saw on auto mode. But normally staying indoors, this was giving us around 500 nits of brightness as a maximum, which is not the greatest, but I think it's still pretty decent considering that this is not really a full-fledged flagship phone. This is a budget phone. I'll mention the price by the end of the video, so it all starts to make sense once we consider the pricing of this phone. We also have the X Arena display. You can see that that's the LED lights that are turning on once this phone goes into the X Arena, which is the gaming platform for the Infinix GT10 Pro. And then you have different features that you can put over here, so you can make specific gaming enhancements. You can optimize different settings for different games. You can turn off notifications. I do want to mention one thing, that this again is a gaming phone, and it's kind of aesthetically, at least, is made for that. When we look at the performance, it's a pretty decent phone because it has the Dimensity 8050 chip, which is MediaTeks chip. It's a pretty new chip as well, based on 6 nanometer platform. And when we did the Antutu benchmark test, this gave us around 700,000 points. Wait one moment. Yeah, 763,000 points is what this gave us, which is a pretty decent score. The one thing that I didn't understand is that when we were playing games, it didn't allow us to play at 120. So it was limited to 60. And even games that supported 120, and even if we put it in 120 settings, it would still only play at 60. frames per second, which was kind of weird because again, is this a gaming phone? Is it not a gaming phone? I mean, that's kind of my criticism about this phone. Is Infinix trying to get into the market, or are they just trying to pretend that this is a gaming phone? Again, not trying to criticize them. I think it's a great start. That's pretty much my only criticism about this, because it makes you feel like this is a gaming phone, but once you start actually gaming it, you kind of start thinking as to whether this is a gaming phone or not. And then you also don't have, you know, shoulder triggers if you want to play games. So that's one of the things. Gaming phones usually have shoulder triggers. So that's my biggest criticism. If we talk about the batteries, then this comes with a standard 5,000 milliampere battery, which is pretty decent. It gave us around 112 hours on an endurance test. And if we look at the charging, then this does come with a 45-watt fast charger, and this was able to charge from 0 to about 73% in 30 minutes. So about fully charging it in less than 1 hour. If we look at the cameras, then the main 108 megapixel camera is the main one that I'm going to talk about. The rest are 2 megapixel cameras. One is a macro camera, and then one is just a depth sensor. We also have a quad LED flash because it has 4 different sections of the LED flash. The camera is pretty decent for this phone, and it's pretty good for social media. The colors are pretty good. Nighttime is a little bit of an issue, but apart from that, the camera is pretty decent. And also on the front, we also have a 32 megapixel camera, which I think is also pretty decent. Colors are pretty good, and again, for the price and the dedication of this phone, which is considered to be a gaming phone, you really don't care about the cameras. If you want to use this for video or just photography, this is a really decent camera as well. It does record in 4K, although at 4K it has no stabilization. If you want stabilization, then the camera quality goes down to 1080p. Now, what is my conclusion of the GT10 Pro? Considering that this is Infinix's first try into the gaming lineup, I think I would let them pass and really wouldn't say anything to them, because this is marketed as a gaming phone, but you really don't get the full-fledged features of a gaming phone like you would from something like a Nubia, Red Magic, or you know, similar phones like that. So that is my only criticism. If we look at the price now, this is not really officially available in the UAE, but this comes at around $280 to $300, and if we translate that into dirhams, that's around 1100 dirhams, which is really not bad at all for the price. And that's where it starts to make sense, because for the price, this is not a bad phone at all. It's more of a mid-ranger phone, I would say. So I wouldn't call this a flagship by any means. So it is kind of like a mid-ranger phone where you are getting a very nice display, you're getting a dependable camera, and you're getting also very nice fast charging speeds. Performance, again, is not bad by any means, but it's not gaming phone performance at all either. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my conclusion and my review on the Infinix GT10 Pro. Let me know what you guys think about this phone, and let me know whether you would consider buying this phone at $300 or around 1100 dirhams. So yeah, and again, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.